All right. My guest on the show today is Yvan Demosthenes. Yvan Demosthenes is the CEO of HamiltonDemo. HamiltonDemo is a bad I'm not going to swear quite yet, maybe later today, Yvan. Executive recruiting firm based in Cincinnati, allows you to hire with confidence. And I know we got a lot more things to talk about. That's not all you do, Yvan. So, Yvan, welcome to the show today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, friend.
Yeah. We're recording this in early 2022, which is a very interesting time in the world. We were just catching up a little bit on, kids at home. We have kids at home right now, too. It's recording podcasts with kids at home is, not the ideal studio, but we make do with what we got, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, man. All right, we're gonna pound you with questions and get to know you today.
Let's do it.
You're ready. I know you're ready. So we're gonna get right into this, Yvan. So first things up, first question that all of my audience knows I'm gonna ask you is something that you nerd out about. So what's something that you nerd out about?
Something I nerd out about. Gosh, I don't know. I think it's cool, but I love some classic music.
Classic music.
Yeah. So I heard I was listening to a rehearsal segment from Elvis Presley for Suspicious Minds this morning with my daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. So my mom used to love old 50s and 60s music, and that's still whenever. Even when my mind goes blank or something reminds me, I love to sing it out loud, or I'll look back and listen to it. Also, people who know me, they don't even need to know me really well, but they know that I'm always down for an Eddie Money tune. And
Eddie Money.
Oh yes, sir. I've got got a couple Eddie Money stories to share.
We got to hear it now. You can't say that and not share it.
Oh, well, I would love to share them. So growing up, part of my story, I was born in Haiti. And when I was 6 months old, we moved to New York. My father was a physician. And so we lived out in Long Island, and a lot of my family lived in Queens, Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. So every Saturday morning, like good Haitian parents, they would just yank us out of bed.
Is that a thing? I didn't.
Oh yeah, they'd yank us out of bed like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, throw us in the car, and whether we were crying or cold or whatever, sleepy, we'd get on the LIE and drive to whatever family house for the weekend. Meet our aunts, uncles, grandmother, cousins, but in the background would be some Eddie Money music. Right. So back in the 70s, he was huge. And 2 Tickets to Paradise, Baby Hold On to Me. And then when I got into high school, Shakin' was really big. And I loved Shakin', just loved Eddie Money, and never really got a chance to see him in person. I always wanted to. And by that time, I was living in Lima, Ohio, and he had all these free concerts. As a matter of fact, before he passed away, he was still doing free concerts up in Michigan. And
Is he really?
Oh, yeah. He's got family from around this area, so he used to love to come to this part of the country. And he did free concerts for 4th of July for years in Dayton and somewhat and all those things. So on my 40th birthday, 1 or 2 days before my 40th birthday, he was playing at one of the local places here, and I got a table front row to Eddie Money. And magnificent show. It was everything I could have dreamed and hoped for. And the next thing I do, he came out like a ball of fire, Jason. Let me tell you.
I'll bet, yeah.
And he was signing autographs at the end of the show. And true story, I waited patiently for my turn, and he must not have known how much I loved them, because there are a lot of other people there that love him too.
Sure.
And when it was my turn, I grabbed him from around the neck, put him in a headlock, and serenaded him a song. And everybody was watching. And after I was done serenading to him, his exact words were, "Pretty good." And everybody stopped.
Pretty good. That's great.
The picture, like she was like the look on her face, she couldn't believe it. She took the picture.
Amazing.
And actually, he always remembered that. every time I saw another 3 or 4 concerts, and we always shouted out and took a couple other pictures together.
So good.
Always remembered it. So yeah, that's what I nerd out about.
That's awesome, man. You can imagine after 100 and some episodes that I get all sorts of answers. You are the only person who's ever answered who ended up being Eddie Money, which is not a bad thing, but that's super cool, man. That's a fun story. I was about to make a really bad Eddie Money like pun joke, but it sounds like I'm going to do it anyway because it's my show and I'm going to make any jokes I want. You actually got 2 tickets to Paradise if you love Eddie Money because you were in the front row.
Yes,
at a table. So you literally got 2 tickets to Paradise and got that song sang to you. That's cool.
Yes,
that's
sir.
awesome, Ivan.
I'll make you another deal if you ever make it to Cincinnati, Jason.
Yeah. Yes.
I know a couple spots. They know as soon as I walk in, they play Eddie Money for me to go up to the mic for some karaoke. So maybe
I'm with you, man. I love karaoke. I'm with you. I probably wouldn't do Eddie Money. I'm a little more talented. I like to do Queen. Like I feel like I can really emulate Freddie Mercury really well. No, that's not true at all. You don't want to hear me singing.
No, well, Eddie Money is usually the warm up. There's things to come after,
right? Eddie Money wasn't known as like the greatest singer. He's just got a really good. I mean, he was a good singer, but you can kind of do him at karaoke. Nobody can emulate Queen. It's just that don't bother. It's not going to happen. It's like Michael Jackson. Nobody's going to sing Michael Jackson like Michael Jackson can sing Michael Jackson.
True.
All right, Ivan. I'm going to get to know you a little bit more here. We know you're an Eddie Money fan, which is awesome. What's something that's inside of your comfort zone, something that you like doing, easy for you, that you know is going to be outside of somebody else's comfort zone?
Oh, so, that's a good question. I think of my wife a lot and my kids. So I'm a big hugger, and,
okay. Yeah.
A little chest bump, the man hug.
Yeah.
So I live in a phenomenal community where, we've been here for a while in Cincinnati, and some people have gotten to know me, and they already know that I'm coming in for the hug.
Coming in for the hug, whether it's been an hour or a month and I haven't seen them, they're getting the hug. And other people, you can kind of tell they give the forearm. Well, that's like the new thing. That's the new thing in the time of COVID is like let me give you an elbow or like maybe a fist bump.
Yeah, exactly. So I've had people give me the straight arm handshake too. So that's been forever. But
it's awesome.
Definitely, when I see old friends that we haven't seen in a while, they know it's coming in, and the friends that we see constantly for booster meetings, parent teacher stuff, and just regular stuff. They know we're coming in for a hug.
I just have to do this, and people who listen to the show know this too. I'm a huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Come on, delicious.
Did you watch this? Did you watch this?
Delicious.
Did you watch this season?
Yes, of course I did.
Did you see the episode with the hugging?
No, which one was it?
Where the guy comes in and it's like the guy hadn't seen Larry in a long time, and they're going to lunch, and he gives him the hug, and he's like, and Larry like recoils, and he's like, we bump penises, and he's like no, and he shows him how to hug without like he's like, I have total penis awareness. Hilarious.
Yeah. Didn't so who was in that episode? The tall guy, the tall actor who I don't remember.
It's the one where they go to the museum, and then Larry gets his shoes. But as you were describing that, I'm like, and he's like, oh, we touch penis. He's like, you got to have penis awareness. He's like, I have total penis awareness, total penis control. So funny.
You know what? I'm gonna knock on wood, Jason, because I have never. Bumped.
You've never bumped.
No, never bumped with anyone, and so I knocked on wood. I hope you didn't jinx me, but
literally knocked on wood. Now we're getting into some really good puns here. All right, I could go on forever. We could dad joke this thing the rest of the way home. So, Ivan, let's look on the other side of that question. So, something that might be outside of your comfort zone, that's inside of somebody else's.
Oh my gosh, Jason, I'm showing my age here. The technology's killing me. Right?
Technology's killing you.
Yeah, it's killing me. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with technology to a point, but it's getting to a place where, I'm comfortable with what I had. I literally just got rid of a laptop that I had for 7 years.
7 years. Okay.
I still can't let go of it. It's right here.
Yeah.
So I'm hopping between chairs, right? I haven't transferred everything over, and I have this Cincinnati bell. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'm sure you're not, but it's like the local, the old Ma Bell provider.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually it was the last existing Ma Bell from the Ma Bell split, and they're still around and they provide internet service. So, my friend, I spend a ton of money on internet and phone and all the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately, it's not the best experience. So I had my neighbor come over and he said, "Hey, you got to get on YouTube TV and this and that." And I looked at him and he responded, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Can I be honest? The idea of getting off cable scares me. I've had cable for like 45 years."
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's the same." I'm like, "Yeah, you say that, but what am I going to do?" And so, so the technology is really getting me. I'm showing my age at 52 years old.
Well, Ivan, I love this because your answers to both of your questions are I'm the opposite of each of those. I'm not a big hugger. Like, I'm not the guy, like, I'll come and I'll give you like a fist bump or whatever, but I'm not a big physical touch person. So what's uncomfortable for me. And then I'm a technologist by trade before I, started doing what I'm doing. So I'm like, so technology is a piece of cake for me. So I am literally the guy on the other side of your questions, which is perfect because it doesn't always happen that way. So there we go. So I'm the example on the other side of both of those. That's super cool. All right.
So what did she say? Opposites attract?
Opposite. There we go. Opposites attract. And we're here. Here we are. So I want to take a minute and talk about speaking. We're speaking here in the podcast. You know, as an owner of a business, you said you do Booster. I'm sure you speak about what you do. You're here speaking about this today. Excuse me. If I was able to give you 5 minutes and you were able to deliver a message to the entire world, so all of us got to hear it, what would you talk to us about, and what would you want us to do at the end of it? In other words, what would be your call to action for the audience?
That's a great question. So, my friend, I love talking about myself. And
you talk about yourself.
Yeah, I would, because I think it's I realize that we all have a great story, and I as old man who's afraid of technology, I'm starting to even become more comfortable in my skin, right? And I believe we've all got a message, and we all have a call to action, right? And I'm starting to become more comfortable with that personally. And so that would be sharing a little bit of my story, which I always try to do.
Yeah.
And, Jason, I've been totally blessed in my life. I had two killer parents who would literally do anything in the whole world for their kids. I mean, not that other parents wouldn't, but gosh, they were not only wonderful parents, but phenomenal examples of human beings. And I started realizing this, although sometimes it hurt, or it wasn't always what you wanted to do, or it didn't make sense. They were the same people when people weren't looking, right? They always,
it's huge.
And huge. And I got to say, as I grow up, I hope I'm a half of the parent to my kids as my parents were to me, because as I get older, and you can see me kind of pausing, because not everybody has that opportunity. Not everybody, literally, it's a luck of the draw. Like, you're born, and hopefully you're born to a situation where you can have the opportunity to thrive. You can make mistakes without the consequence of suffering and those around you suffering. I mean, we were all teenagers, right? How many mistakes do people make as teenagers or as young adults? So those things have really resonated with me. And part of that is here in Cincinnati, I've been I've been very active in nonprofits for about 12, 13 years now.
Nice.
And one of the things that has gotten me is that the city of Cincinnati is number 1, 2, or 3 in child poverty and children who may go to bed without eating. Right?
Yeah.
I forget the word that they use for it. There's a term, and that really stuck with me. So the poverty thing is, it doesn't necessarily need to be a birthright. It doesn't need to be by chance. And there's not just one solution, but a little bit of that too is a mindset, right? You learn to live a certain way. Then it's just like on the opposite side. If I were born a prince, I would know no other way than to live like a prince.
You know. Right. Yeah.
And so I would say at the end of that is if I could leave here in this world and make the world a little bit better place, provide the opportunity for those to help their future generations not have to deal with that. Not only can that be better for their families, but better for the world. Because when everybody's thinking in an abundance mindset, I think that this world's going to be, out of this universe. We'll be living on Mars. We'll be living in this and that. So that's what really I think education at the end. Like, hey, let's all learn. You don't necessarily need to learn calculus.
Yeah,
let's all try to learn something and be a master of something, have that education so that your next generation, they can choose what they want too, right? They're not born living with a poverty mindset or a struggle mindset or a scarcity mindset. So that's my message. Thanks.
Awesome, man. That's great. This is you're a great guest because we're going to take a really quick break. And when we come back, you know what I'm going to ask you next. And I think we're going to continue with what you just said. So we're going to take a very quick commercial break. We'll be right back after that.
All right, cool.
The Talking to Cool People podcast is brought to you by Jason Frizzell Coaching. Jason works with amazing people who are looking to find and develop their passion and purpose and create their journey to wherever it is they want to go. Check us out at jasonfrizzell.com, Facebook, or on Instagram. Jason loves hearing from anyone who thinks it would be cool to connect, to be coached, or to be a guest on our show. Email him at podcast@jasonfrizzell.com or DM him on Facebook and Instagram. And now, back to some more amazing conversation on Talking to Cool People.
All right, Ivan, we are back. All right, let's just continue on because I think we're going to lead right into what's next. And so what is it that you want all of us to know about you?
So my company, HamiltonDemo, is an executive search professional placement company. We provide solutions and project solutions for all types of organizations, from small businesses all the way to enterprise. Through my career, I started off at Career Builder, then Monster.com, then with Professional Diversity Network.
So you're a recruiter by trade. Like you've always been in this industry.
Yeah, so I'm recruiting, but I've been in sales for over 30 years, right?
Right. I'm not surprised you say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was 21 years old when I first started selling, and I'm 52 years old now. So 31 years. Time happens really fast.
It really does.
I got into the industry in 04, 05. And so after 18 years, I consider myself more of a salesperson. As a matter of fact.
Sales, yeah.
Yeah. So I do the recruiting, but it's I come from a place of business development and sales, right?
So you're actually more interacting with the companies who would hire your firm to place roles into your. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you so much. 100%. So 99% of what I do is all B2B.
Yep.
Business. So everything from going to a company and providing a project where we could place direct hires to providing other solutions from career fairs to placing media, recruitment ads for people, and other different things. I help with all of it. And
Nice.
so would really want people to know, especially if you're in a growing business. That's one thing that I should say. My expertise is primarily in enterprise organizations. But since I started our business, HamiltonDemo, 4 or 5 years ago, we've really had a lot of small and medium-sized businesses that we've worked with and helped grow. And
Awesome.
We've been experiencing that growth with them as well. So wherever you are, happy to chat. Go to HamiltonDemo.com. You may not believe this, Jason, but I leave my phone number on there. And
look at that.
Oh yeah, hey,
Spoken like a true salesperson. You're like, if you got a deal for me, you could call me. I'm available. I love that.
People have given me slack on a lot of things, from putting my phone number out there to, I've got some interviews with Ivan, podcasts that I've done, etc. And my whole approach. One thing I've learned being a salesperson is you want to be your true, authentic self. Do I want to be polite? Do I want to be professional? Do I want to show up on? Yeah, you got to do all that stuff. But people can sniff out a fake.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You can, and to that, they know when somebody's trying hard too. There's a difference between trying hard and being a fake. People can sniff out a fake.
I agree.
So I just got to be me. And part of me is, hey, here's my number. I trust that people who are going to reach out, or if they want to call on a Sunday morning, that's fine too. Right. I'll take that. And so.
That's nice, man. What's, in my former corporate career, I worked with, I was placed once, and it was a delightful experience.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was placed, and I really liked the people I worked with. It was a very smooth process for me as the candidate, and they really helped me and prepared me, and they ended up placing me, and it was a perfect fit. I'm curious for you, because I think you might be the first person I've talked to in the recruiting space in the podcast, and I don't spend a lot of time in the recruiting space overall. It's just not the world that I live in, really, especially as I work for myself, podcast, and do executive coaching for tech. So for me, I don't, this is not the world I live in. What's the best part about this space for you? Like, what is it that gets you up in the morning, gets you excited about doing what you do?
Oh yeah. So Jason, I'm so glad you asked that question, because someone asked me that question yesterday. And I will be candid with you. When I first started in this business, I didn't think I was going to be here long. As a matter of fact,
I've heard that in this business. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there was a time when I thought to myself, okay, this is a great company and things are happening, but first chance I get, once I attain my goals, I'm outie, right? And I literally thought to myself, why would anyone ever want to stay in this business, right? There's just, when you deal with people, it's not like being an accountant or an engineer. So maybe to some extent, attorneys and doctors, since they're always dealing with people, they've got a little bit of this, but you never know what to expect when you deal with people, right? Right.
Especially people with a need that are hiring, and also people that have a need to get a job.
Yeah.
Which is, generally a kind of a high stakes situation on both sides in some ways.
Yeah, it's nuts. So let's say it's never boring. And when I think I've seen and heard everything, I'm always, I'm still surprised. So with that being said, that it's something new every day. Sometimes it's frustrating, but the other times, like the frustration that I could have one day where I'm on the phone with someone and I think I'm connecting with them, and then 15 minutes into the phone call of a pre-qualifying call or initial call, they hang up on me and I can never get a hold of them. Frustrating.
So frustrating.
Or you reach out to someone who, submitted a resume, but all they want is to text back and forth. I'll never figure that out, you know? or like, why would you express interest in a job and not make yourself accessible? Right? It's goofy. So those are frustrating things. And sometimes there's reasons for it and sometimes others. But when you're able to hire someone and it comes at a time where it is not only impactful, but life-changing, potentially life-changing, I mean, that's one of the greatest gifts I get every once in a while when that happens and I can actually help someone in their life get to where they want to be, whether it's they were down and out and needed a new job. The new job gave them the opportunity to go buy an engagement ring and marry for their dreams, move their family, all these different things and opportunities. I shared this story on a podcast recently that I did some work for Chipotle, and they were needing crew members really bad and some other positions. So I did a campaign for them. And as I'm on the phone with this young man, after being hung up on by a few people and having a few no-shows, you know how that goes. For every great story, there's one that didn't work out.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But this young man is talking, and I can hear stuff going on in the background, but he's being very polite through the noise. And how we started off this podcast, there's kids, and you get
of course, it's life.
It's life. I remember when my son was first born, he had ear infections all the time, so I'd literally be in the conference calls, holding it, crying,
screaming.
But so I get that, but the call was going well, but finally I had to ask, "Hey, what's going on back there?"
Yeah,
and he tells me it's my brother, and he wants a job too. And I'm like, well, put him on the phone.
Nice.
So he puts him on the phone. And after I talked to his brother, again, another delightful experience, but there's still commotion in the background. And I'm like, so this is great, but what's going on? He's like, my mother's asking if she can get a job too.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, put her on the phone.
Yeah.
And my friend, those guys, they ended up going to the interview together, and all three of them got hired.
That's so fun.
And they literally called me from the car thanking me.
Amazing.
And they kept in touch with me for a while. And then, pandemic kind of, you know how that happened. But so something like that, I was walking around smiling for days. And
yeah, of course. What a difference you made.
Yeah. And, you hope you make a difference. Sometimes you can't see it, but sometimes God lets you actually live, see, and feel it. And that's great. I appreciate that a lot. So
that's awesome, Ivan. You said something, and I'm going to get on as those who listen know that sometimes I get on my little soapbox. I'm going to get on a little sales soapbox for a minute for a quick thing. The thing you just said about how people hang up on you, it boggles my mind when business owners don't treat salespeople well, because business owners generally have salespeople selling their products and services as well. And so I get you might not be interested, but there's just the lack of decency to fellow humans. And I'm like, but you run a business and you are selling something. Every business is selling something. You also bought the chair you're sitting in from somebody, and you bought your real estate. So when I hear stories, and I used to work in enterprise software sales where it's not quite as bad because they're generally in need, but I also worked in like small and medium where people they're just rude. I'm like, but you're a company selling something, and I know you have salespeople that are like, what would you do as the owner? So this is like my PSA out to all the owners out there and all the people for salespeople. We're all just doing all the salespeople are just doing their jobs. That's it. It's an air of decency. It may be inconvenient. It may be a no, but just treat salespeople with respect, because they're just doing their jobs just like everybody else. And that is my little soapbox. And now I'm going to hop off it, and then you're going to ask me a question. So.
No, actually, if I'd like to keep the soapbox going a little bit. Let's
do it.
Let's stretch the hill a little bit.
Let's double up the soapbox.
Yeah, let's keep coasting down there, because my friend, I adjunct at Thomas More University.
Oh, okay.
The liberal arts university, Catholic university here in Northern Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And I got my MBA there. And so it's an honor for me to to be an adjunct there. And the class that I teach is professional selling.
Nice.
And you should see these kids. Oh my God, Jason, if you ever saw these kids, I wish I was like the head of GE or something. I hire all of them on the spot.
They're so hungry and friendly and ready to rock. Yeah, ready to rock.
Eager, right? And you'll be interested to know that the first thing I do, so this is going to be my third year teaching the course. What I do first class is show them the skit from Glengarry Glen Ross.
Of course.
Right?
ABC. Of course.
And eye-opening. So they know what to expect. And I tell them, hey, we're going to try to simulate a real-world environment in here as much as possible with look at the syllabus. I won't bore you with the details, but I talk to them like a sales manager would talk to them. I guide them and kind of create situations where it would be client situational selling situations, relationship situations. And I emphasize to them as a salesperson, there's a couple things that more than anything that I've seen personally in my whole career, you got to have perseverance and you have to be resilient, because you get a lot more no's than you get yeses.
Yeah. And for all reasons that don't make any sense either. You get no's because people buy on emotion. So
well, even worse than that, you're going to get those no's and never know why.
Yeah. Which is, And then your manager's going to want to know why. And you're going to be like, I don't know. Yes.
And
totally.
You got to be perseverant and resilient because you're getting it from both sides.
Right.
And then I tell them, there's a thing about fitness when you're in sales, because you got to be mentally fit. You got to be emotionally fit. You have to be physically fit, because all those things happen. The only way you make it through that is if you've got all those things working for you, and that you're ready to take on the world. Because you know what? You're the human person is not built for that much negativity. But here's another thing: mindset is everything. What would this world be without salespeople?
There'd be no. Like you would have no idea.
We probably wouldn't be here, right? Because the salespeople bring new ideas, products, and services to businesses and commerce, right?
That's right. Yeah, so, absolutely.
So your salespeople serve like whatever other people think, whether they're like, salespeople are overbearing, they're annoying, persistent. I don't know what they think. But for me, I feel, hey, I'm going to call you anyway, because I think whether you buy from me or not, you need to know about this.
That's right.
You need to know that there's a better way to do something the way that you're doing it. Or if you're using something similar to what I have that I'm going to sell, you need to know if this fits better for your company or not, or your needs. Hence, we were talking about the whole YouTube TV and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm shy. I'm gun shy, right? But ultimately, I'm going to realize if there's a better way to do something, I'm going to have to do it,
and more cost effective for the same solution.
Yeah, we didn't even bring that.
Yeah,
into, right?
Yeah, man, so, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like I should have you back on. We'll just talk sales for an hour. I do want to give you the opportunity, Yvan. Tradition on the show here is to ask me a question, and we don't know each other other than the last 40 minutes. So I have no idea what you're going to ask me. This is never prepared. So, and I'm going to put myself on a short timer because I want to make this about you, but I want to see, what would you like to ask me?
So in the spirit of New Year's and bowl season, so tell me, are you a football fan? And if so, tell me your favorite college football team and
this is you're going to love this answer.
Yeah, come on with it.
So I went to the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
which is
Go
like
Gophers.
go Gophers, middle of the pack for the Big Ten. We play in a bowl game. Minnesota football is not that exciting. I married a Buckeye. My wife went to Ohio State. So yay until the Big Ten championship game. Not good as an Ohio State fan. I think they ended up having a phenomenal – they played Utah and beat Utah, I think, 45-42 on either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So, in our household, we're not – we're used to having a BCS game or two. So that didn't happen. And then I'm a huge football fan. Unfortunately, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan because I'm from Minnesota. So, not a great season. We have arguably – if you look at our offensive numbers, Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's the starting Pro Bowl running back. And you look at our stats, and you would say this team should be like 12-5, 12-4.
Yeah,
they're 7-9 now, and it just wasn't our year. Like our defense kind of stunk, and we lost a ton of close games. So now, I'm going to be chilling, and I also didn't do so well in fantasy football this year. I'm a big fantasy football player, playing 3 leagues. So it hasn't been the greatest thing for me, but I will say I don't know if you're a Bengals fan. But congratulations if you are in the AFC North when Joe Burrow, man, in 2 weeks, 970 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2 weeks or something. Yeah, he won a lot of fantasy players, fantasy leagues, that's for sure. Jamar Chase too.
Yeah, so I'm actually a New York Giants fan.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's been painful.
I hate the Giants. Being a Vikings fan, I hate the Giants.
I don't hate anyone or anything, but I'm pretty close. It's been painful the last few years, and take that from a guy that's been to a Super Bowl where his team, the New York Giants, beat the Patriots and had the best time of his life. But it's been painful. But I will say this: I do root for the Bengals because my life is easier when the Bengals win.
Of course,
and Joe Burrow is really a quarterback for the ages.
He's amazing.
He's amazing, but I actually am worried for him because I think, these young kids, they've got so much heart. He does the right thing, and you can see his will to win. If he keeps running out of the pocket, he's going to hurt himself, man. Yeah. I hope so. I wish him the best. He's phenomenal. I can't wait to get his autograph one day.
Yeah, man, he's great.
Because my son's going to love him. And my wife's family are diehard Browns fans.
Ooh, that's it. That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, so let me brag to you a little bit.
Please.
They have front row dog pounds seats. So
really?
Yeah, so we are going to be at the season finale Browns-Bengals game. So
cool.
You'll be able to see me behind the goalpost.
There you go. Nice, man. That's awesome.
Pounds. So we always go see a couple games every year up there.
That's super cool. Yeah. I'm a lifelong Vikings fan. I am fortunate that my whole extended family, my grandparents were all from Kansas. So I'm a very close second Kansas City Chiefs fan, which has been a much more fun ride. Like Mahomes is like my favorite player in the NFL. Last year stunk in the Super Bowl. The year before that, and they're looking good. But they lost to the Bengals last week, right? I mean, that was an amazing game.
Yeah.
So, man, we could talk sales and football all day, but I think people might have tuned out at that point if they don't like sales and football.
What else is there to talk about?
What else is there?
Chinese food.
I like Chinese food too. When I get to Cincinnati, we're definitely going to hook up. Especially if there's a Bengals game and you got tickets for me. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, man. We're going to start to wrap up because we have a few minutes left. I do have a couple more questions for you if you have a little bit more time for us. And I want to ask you, Ivan, what's the thing that you are most proud of?
Yeah. Hands down, my family.
Yeah.
My wife and kids, my brother, my sister, my nieces and nephews, I've got a phenomenal family, cousins, aunts and uncles. Like I said, the luck
amazing.
of the draw, just the luck of being born into this family. And honestly, my in-laws are phenomenal. Both sides of my family. Gosh, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed.
Man. That's awesome. So I'm going to challenge you on something. You keep saying I'm lucky. Yeah, there's some nurture there, or nature there, but there's a lot of nurture, especially with your kids are not pure luck. Like, the reason they're turning out good and the family's turning out good is because you're doing the right things for them.
Because my parents made me do the right thing.
Because your parent made you do the right thing. Yes. Important for parents. But yes, like some nature, a lot of nurture, so I guess. So congratulations on that. That sounds like you all have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, we do.
And then you get to, like, you know, bridge the gap between Bengals and Browns, and that's, you know, at least they're not Steelers fans. Then that would, like, if you had a Browns family and a Steelers family, that I don't know that you could coexist.
Yeah, you know, somehow we make it all work.
You make it all, like, love conquers all.
Love conquers all. I love it.
What's Ivan, what's something that you're afraid might actually be true about you?
Wow.
This is the therapy question. We're going to get on the couch here with some Kleenex. This is the therapy question.
You know, my father's a psychiatrist, right? So
this is perfect. Yes. You can tell him if he's still around that I asked you this, and he'll.
No, he is. He is
perfect.
Yeah, he probably already knows the
answer. Say, son, we're going to analyze. Yeah, he's going to say, son, what you answered is either true or not.
So, what am I afraid is true about me?
What's something that you're afraid might actually be true about you?
Huh. So I'm scared about, but it's actually true. My father used to tell me this all the time. And I'm sure you and your audience haven't picked up on this. I'm more sensitive than I would like to admit that I am.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So now the real therapy question. Now we're going to dig a little bit deeper on that. You know, we've already opened the wound a little bit. We're really going to jab at it. What do you do to compensate for that fear? What's the thing you put in place to compensate for it, to protect yourself?
I puff my chest out. You know, a few dashes of machismo.
Yeah.
You know, I act like it doesn't affect me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's like, at the end of the day, it affects me. You know? But, you know, I do like to, you know, give myself the opportunity to, like, let it all go. And sometimes, you know, a football game or a guilty pleasure of any money.
It's such a guilty pleasure. What a vice. If any money is your worst vice, Ivan, I think you're in a good place.
Well, hey, it feels good. Any money with a little Elvis and some other stuff. But
that's awesome, man. You're like, and then also I'm going to go and sob into a pillow for the next half hour after this podcast as I'm judging myself. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah. You know what? It's not crying if nobody sees you.
That's right. That's exactly as men. We're like, I love the talk. We're going to end the episode with a bunch of toxic masculinity. It's perfect. That's hilarious.
Love it.
All right, my man. How can people, so you mentioned this before. How can people connect with you again? Like, and this is all going to be in the show notes as well. So we'll put all this in. Like, I'm sure people are going to listen to you. They're going to want to connect with you on LinkedIn, hit you up on your website, find out more about what you're up to, maybe troll you a little bit on football. Like, how can people connect with you and find you?
Yeah, so look me up. I know I have a long, an interesting name, Antoine Yvan Demosthenes. I go by Yvan Demosthenes. That's Ivan with a Y. You don't have to remember that. Just go to HamiltonDemo.com, and I pop right up, and my number's right there to contact me. Feel free to reach out. Texts are good also. Yeah, there is an admin email there. So you can feel free to email as well. I would just love to chat if you're interested in just learning more about what HamiltonDemo is able to do and provide. We provide our services nationwide from New York to California.
Nice.
All industries, all size companies. Nice. So happy to talk with anyone. And feel free to go out there and give me a call, 513-257-9683. Is that
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
That's a brave man. You really are a salesperson. You're like, I'll give you my number. Some people are like, oh no, you're going to hit me up on LinkedIn. And if I don't want to respond to you, you're like, bro, I'll give you my number. It's all good, man.
Oh, please. That's awesome. Feel free.
That's awesome, Ivan. Well, I want to thank you for coming on, getting to know you here live on, not live. Well, we're live. This won't be live because it's a podcast, but it's close to live. And just it's been a pleasure to get to know you. And I'd love if what you do for us is what all of my guests do, and leave us with some words of wisdom. And these words of wisdom should be short and sweet. So for somebody who's not so tech savvy, they should fit on a Post-it note. And I know you know what that means.
Yeah. So, thanks, Jason. You know what? I'm really big into not overcomplicating things. Mm-hmm. And, we all go in, we have kids, they become teenagers, and then they leave the nest and all this other stuff. I think the best thing I can say is just do the best that you can at the time, mm-hmm. And if you'll know if you did your best at the time. Yeah. We all, in hindsight, realize that maybe we could have done things a little bit different. But for me personally, I realize if I do the best that I can at the time with what I know and what's available to me, I don't have regrets. Even if there were other things I could have done, I did the best that I could at that time. Yeah, so that's I would leave with your people.
Yeah, I think we'll in improv we call it a callback. We'll call this all back to football. The analogy that is like in any sport, actually. If you leave it all on the field, then you can walk, even if it doesn't work out exactly the way you want it to, because really, how often in life does it work out exactly how you want it to? Keep your head held high. Ivan, thank you so much. Best of 2022 to you and the family, to HamiltonDemo, the business. I can't wait to have you back on and talk sales sometime soon. And
let's do it, man. Please have me back. This
and enjoy the football game. Yeah, enjoy the football game this weekend. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Talking to Cool People with Jason Frizzell. If you enjoyed today's episode, please tell your friends. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and give us a shout out, or take a moment to leave a review on iTunes. If something from today's episode piqued your interest and you'd like to connect, email us at podcast@jasonfrizzell.com. We love hearing from our listeners because you're cool people too.